Most of our planet is covered by water. Not just covered, submerged. The average depth of these oceans is almost 4,000 meters. The deep sea accounts for over 97% of all living space on Earth. Yet it's only now that the latest technology is allowing us to glimpse into the abyss. It's a world where new species are constantly being discovered. A world of weird and wonderful deep-sea animals. But perhaps the most extraordinary of all the inhabitants of this alien world is a creature that has survived virtually unchanged for countless millions of years. The vampire squid from hell. This is the story of how, after a 5-year quest, the vampire squid was found, revealing its most intimate secrets to the camera. For those who pursue the mysteries of the deep, the day starts before dawn. Dr. Bruce Robeson is one of the world's leading deep-sea biologists. Today, he's off on another journey down into the abyss.
13 feet in the afternoon, highest in the Outer Bay and near Point Pinos, occasional showers. 50 degrees in Santa Cruz, 55 in Watsonville.
Beneath this familiar surface lies a world of mysterious creatures that are almost beyond our imagination. Point Lobos, the research vessel of the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, sails this challenging part of the Pacific Ocean. The ship has been used for deep-sea research in Monterey Bay for over 15 years. Dr. Robeson and his research team have made many remarkable discoveries using deep-sea submersibles. This is Ventana, an unmanned submersible. Ventana means window in Spanish, and this sub really is a window into the abyss, with more than 2,000 dives to its credit. In 1998, the first high-definition camera was mounted on the Ventana, allowing the team to carry out ever more detailed observations. Dr. Robeson's team set off for the middle of Monterey Bay, where they've been working for more than a decade. It's a prime site. The surface water hides a huge canyon, incredibly deep, but easily accessible. At almost 4,000 meters deep, that's almost 2.5 miles, it's one of the greatest canyons on the face of our planet, over twice as deep as the Grand Canyon. Dr. Robeson's work concentrates on the layer at about 600 to 900 meters down, known as the oxygen minimum layer. But despite the lack of oxygen, this region is not devoid of life. Far from it. It's home to some incredible creatures, and one in particular has captured his imagination. These sketches show an animal that was collected from the deep about 100 years ago. Its bizarre appearance earned it the scientific name of Vampiroteuthis infernalis, literally meaning the vampire squid from hell. Dr. Robeson's team were the first people to penetrate this forbidding world and to see the vampire squid alive in the deep.
The first time we came across a live one and could see it with the ROV, it was a very exciting moment for me and for everyone else here in the control room, because we were able to observe for the first time this very strange and remarkable animal in its natural habitat under nearly normal conditions.
Today, the team plans to send the submersible down to around 1,000 meters in the hope of finding Vampiroteuthis. Ventana will be remotely operated from the control room of the mothership. This high-tech operation is like something from a science fiction film.
Okay, Mark, let's start going down. Not real fast, and not straight down. Whoa, sea lion.
Californian sea lions are very curious and can't resist coming over to investigate the intriguing invader into their undersea world. Anchovies, the last of the shallow water animals they'll encounter for some time as the submersible descends into the gloomy depths. Now the Ventana has reached a depth of 200 meters. This is the threshold past which hardly any sunlight penetrates. These white particles floating by are marine snow, the remains of plants and animals, which drift down from the surface and provide the deep-sea ecosystem with food. Dr. Robeson has spotted something in the distance. This animal is a heteropod, or elephant jellyfish, so named because of its long nose-like structure. It's not actually a jellyfish, but a shellfish. Indeed, some remnants of a shell can be seen at the tip of its body. Then, a creature with an eerie glow appears in front of the camera. This is a ctenophore, or a comb jelly. It swims by gently beating the fine hairs or comb-like cilia, which lie along the length of its body. The cilia are so small that they diffract the submersible's light into a rainbow of jewel-like colors. With its many feet or appendages, this animal looks a little like an underwater centipede. It is called Tomopterus. This delicate creature is almost 50 centimeters long, surviving at a depth of 200 meters under pressures that would kill a man. Down here, pressure is 20 times greater than at the surface. How do animals survive at these pressures without being crushed? The bodies of most deep-sea animals are filled with liquid. This gelatinous body fluid allows animals to live under the enormous pressures in the abyss and gives them the added advantage of making them transparent, vital in a world full of predators. Even our experts have not seen a Tomopterus as big as this before. The team decides to move the submersible closer to Tomopterus. They're keen to try to capture it using the remote-controlled sampler so they can take an even closer look.
There you go. Ouch.
The submersible is now at 400 meters. Unidentified creatures drift by the vessel like passing clouds. In the distance, a dark object appears. Could it be their ultimate prize? A Vampiroteuthis? Not this time. It's an owlfish. Like so many deep-sea animals, the owlfish has unusually large and sensitive eyes to make the most of even the smallest amount of light. Even at several hundred meters down, extremely faint downwelling light can still penetrate from the surface. The Ventana is now 2 hours into the dive. Fewer animals are being observed, a sure sign that it has reached the oxygen minimum layer.
Right, well, right now we're at 700 meters and we've reached the core of the oxygen minimum layer. The oxygen is down to 0.15 milliliters per liter, which is extremely low. In general, very few species can live at oxygen concentrations this low. And so in the oxygen minimum zone, there are very few animals. And the ones that live here are specialized.
One animal superbly adapted to the oxygen minimum layer is the very one that Dr. Robeson is looking for, Vampiroteuthis. 10 years ago, he became the first person to witness a Vampiroteuthis alive in the deep sea. He was understandably thrilled and has been hooked ever since.
That was on Hypotheus right on too, only one of the amber colored ones. It almost looked like that.
It seems almost too miraculous to expect to find exactly what you're looking for in this vast undersea universe.
Okay, Brian, we're making the punch down.
Suddenly, something passes by the left side of the submersible.
Oh, I'll stop, turn right. Okay, swing right. Okay, yes, stop. God damn.
The Ventana's camera captures a dark object floating in the distance.
I know what that is. Is that it?
Yeah, that is.
Boys here?
Yes.
Wow.
At long last, the team has found what it's been searching for. Vampiroteuthis infernalis, an animal from ancient times, a living fossil. This specimen is about the size of a football. It swims by gently fluttering its fins. The drawing of it from 100 years ago showed it as almost black, but this one in Monterey is dark red, a color that provides good camouflage in the abyss, as red light is unable to penetrate to such a depth.
Great.
Relative to its size, the jewel-like eyes are thought to be the biggest in the animal kingdom.
It's pretty big. Yeah, we can see our reflection.
The lights of the high-tech machine reflect in the eyes of Vampiroteuthis, highlighting the chasm of time between our world and theirs. It's as though the submersible is a time machine, transporting us back to the ancient world of the vampire squid from hell. Researchers believe that the vampire squid is exceptionally good at removing what little oxygen exists at this level.
called cirri, and they're presumably like little fingers that either sense when something is inside the bell, or if he's captured some food, they help to push it up towards the mouth. One way that it may feed is like this, to throw the web out and then to enclose and encircle its prey.
You can actually see one of these guys' feet.
No, from the way that other animals with structure like this feed. Well, look at it this way, Stuart. You allowed him to escape. All right, let's catch it.
With just a few energetic flaps of its fins, the Vampiroteuthis makes a swift exit. Down here in the abyss, it only has to move a very small distance before it disappears into the blizzard of marine snow.
Okay, forget it. Let's go up.
It's disappointing for the team to have to return without capturing the vampire squid. But they did have the rare opportunity to observe it and many other deep-sea dwellers during their 5-hour mission into the abyss. Why is Monterey Bay home to such a diverse range of animals? The coastal fog holds a clue. At certain times of the year, fog forms along the coast as warm air is chilled by cool water, which rises from the deep. What causes this? Every spring and summer, a strong north wind blows along the west coast of the United States, pushing warmer surface water offshore. In turn, cold water wells up from the deep sea to take its place, and then flows offshore, driven by the cycle of currents. This upwelling of cold water transports nutrients from the deep sea towards the surface. These act as fertilizers and allow the biological community of the coast to flourish. This shoot of kelp has started to grow on the sea bottom. It is just a few centimeters tall. The base of the kelp leaf divides into two, and then each leaf grows further. Thanks to the nutrient-rich water, kelp in Monterey can grow at the incredible rate of 30 centimeters a day. Small floats filled with carbon monoxide form, which allows the kelp to rise higher and higher in the water column. When they reach the sea surface, their growth is further fueled by the abundant sunlight needed for photosynthesis. Giant kelp eventually reaches an extraordinary length of 60 meters, which makes it the world's longest seaweed. The Californian kelp forest is as rich and diverse a habitat as a tropical rainforest. Home to over 500 different species of plants and animals, the kelp offers shelter as well as food. Abalone, starfish, sea urchins, and other invertebrates all thrive on a diet of kelp. So many animals crop the kelp, it begs the question, how can the kelp survive if it's constantly being eaten? predators are themselves kept in check by the sea otter. These appealing marine mammals can dive to over 30 meters in search of their favorite foods: clams, crabs, sea urchins, abalones, and many other invertebrates that feed on the kelp. Unlike other marine mammals, sea otters don't have a thick layer of subcutaneous fat to keep them warm. Since the waters of the Monterey Bay are cold, they need to constantly feed to maintain body temperature and keep their energy levels up. At the surface, kelp and phytoplankton flourish thanks to the nutrient-rich water and strong sunlight. But the wealth of the shallows will eventually sink into the deep, becoming part of the marine snow that provides a rich source of food for deep-sea organisms. The basis of life in the underwater canyon. In the autumn, the strong coastal winds that cause upwelling in the spring and summer subside. Around this time of year, visitors from the deep come to the coast in their millions. California squid normally live at depths of around 300 meters, but in the autumn, they ascend to the shallower waters for a mass spawning event. After they have mated, the exhausted males sink to the sea floor and die. Females attach the long finger-like egg cases to the bottom before they too perish. Now is also a period of change in the deep sea, and this means a busy time for Dr. Robeson and the crew. Although he's only had a few encounters with Vampyroteuthis, most of these took place during this season. It's a good time to go hunting for squid. And this time, Dr. Robeson is determined to capture a Vampyroteuthis alive, so he can try to understand more about how they survive in the abyss.
Vampyroteuthis is what we call a living fossil. It represents the ancestors of the squid and the octopus before they split apart into 8-arm and 10-arm types. Learning about Vampyroteuthis by direct observation has moved our understanding of this animal a great distance forward very quickly.
Vampyroteuthis was first discovered 100 years ago by the German survey vessel Valdivia during an extensive expedition from the Antarctic to the Indian Ocean. In African waters, the crew retrieved an extraordinary creature from a depth of 1,400 meters, a mile down. The mantle was black, the eyes red, and it looked something like an octopus or squid. Its startling appearance led to it being named the vampire squid from hell. Then, another specimen was collected off the coast of Japan. This time, a strange feature caught people's attention. They noticed two thread-like organs or filaments between its tentacles. These filaments and other fossil evidence showed that Vampyroteuthis was neither a squid nor an octopus, but an even more primitive creature. On the way back down into the abyss, the crew notices something unusual. At a depth of 400 meters, they discover Phronima, a powerful predator. Phronima is a parasite which attacks jellies known as salps with its sharp claws. It then uses the body of the host as a place to lay its eggs. These eggs have already hatched. In order to oxygenate the water around the hatchlings, the parent must swim. Phronima is not the only deep-sea organism to breed at this time of the year. It takes some time for marine snow to drift down from the surface into the deep sea. There's a lag of about 3 months before the leftovers of the great productivity at the surface reach the abyss. This fuels a period of tremendous deep-sea activity when the researchers occasionally witness unusual events. These jellies are known as sea gooseberries. They're a small species of ctenophore about 2 centimeters long. They have very fine trailing tentacles that spread out like a net to fish for copepods and other plankton. When prey is caught, the sea gooseberry immediately starts to reel it in, like an angler with a fish on the line. It then eats the prey using its mouth placed on the top of the head. But this time, the sea gooseberry isn't so lucky. This larger ctenophore is also on the lookout for a meal. The tables are turned, and suddenly the sea gooseberry is on the menu. Not all predators are so mobile. This predatory tunicate waits for zooplankton to be transported on the current straight to its waiting mouth. When its unsuspecting prey is close enough, the tunicate quickly shuts its mouth around the animal, like a baseball glove closing around a ball. It then digests the prey within its mouth. Squid are at the top of the deep-sea food chain. They have 10 arms, 2 of which are special tentacles designed to catch prey. The squid sneaks up on its prey from behind, and in a split second, spreads its tentacles and snares its catch. To avoid winding up as dinner, it's crucial to have some sort of defense. This is Chiroteuthis, a type of deep-sea squid. Like many other residents down here, its transparent body provides excellent camouflage as it hunts in the abyss. But this small fish is no easy catch. The eel pout has developed a unique survival tactic. It detects the approaching Chiroteuthis, forming a circle and then remaining motionless. It is thought that the eel pout is trying to imitate a jellyfish that is unpalatable to the squid. It certainly seems an effective strategy here, as many animals in the deep sea detect their prey by finding silhouettes in the gloom. Two hours have now passed since Ventana reached the oxygen minimum layer. There's not much slack left in the cable connecting the submersible and the mother ship. Their time is limited. Dr. Robeson spots something.
Oh, hold it. What's that?
There, in the distance, barely visible through the marine snow, is a Vampiroteuthis.
Pretty in your very own canoe. You got cheers. Wow, that's nice. That's great.
All right, now we're at the end of our tether. So if things start to get squirrely, Brian or Canute, let me know, and we'll just put this guy away.
This time, The Vampiroteuthis is moving quite calmly. Hopefully it won't make any sudden attempts to escape. This could be a great opportunity to capture one alive.
What is this curly thing up there?
That's a good question. We think it's a sensory filament. It's got one on either side.
Two white coiled filaments are visible emerging from between the arms. These are unique to Vampiroteuthis and first described in the specimen caught off Japan. Dr. Robeson suspects that these are one of the secret weapons that allow Vampiroteuthis to survive in the oxygen minimum layer.
Check out your sensory filaments, buddy. Give it a little wiggle.
It's extremely unusual to observe Vampiroteuthis using these filaments.
Why does that look white? With a zoom.
The coiled filament is unraveling and is now well over 1 meter long. Vampiroteuthis remains almost motionless while the filaments unravel. It seems certain that it uses them as sensors to detect approaching prey. Dr. Robeson thinks this helps it to conserve energy while hunting in such an oxygen-deficient environment.
There appears to be a rigid structure hinged at the base to which the flexible filament is attached. And it looks as though he can move the base like this, deploy the filament out in whatever direction he wants. Okay, let's put him away. Nice and easy.
The submersible is now almost 1 kilometer, well over half a mile below the mother ship. It takes great skill to maneuver the sub like this. One false move now, and their prize could be lost.
Great job. Good one. There you go.
Very nice.
The Vampiroteuthis will be carefully transported to Dr. Robeson's lab at the Research Institute. Here, state-of-the-art facilities allow the team to examine deep-sea organisms in as near natural conditions as possible. This special tank keeps Vampiroteuthis at the very low temperature and oxygen levels of its deep-sea home and allows Dr. Robeson to constantly monitor his precious catch. His observations will help him build up a more detailed picture of this creature from an alien world. While in captivity, Vampiroteuthis hardly eats. Its metabolic rate is incredibly low, likely to be a result of its adaptation to an environment where prey and oxygen are scarce. But scientists now believe that Vampiroteuthis didn't evolve in its current habitat. This is a fossil of a plesiosaur, an aquatic predatory reptile discovered in Hokkaido, Japan. It was excavated in a stratum of rock from the Cretaceous period, 80 million years ago. A fossilized beak was found in the stomach of the plesiosaur. This is the lower beak, and this the upper beak. In total, there were over 10 such structures. Analysis showed that this is probably the beak of an ancestor of Vampiroteuthis. Judging by the size of the beaks, this animal was more than 3 times the size of its modern counterpart, over 1 meter long. Here, computer graphics bring it and its ancient world to life once more. But a bigger difference to the modern vampire squid is indicated by the fossil evidence. Scientists believe that pre-Vampiroteuthis was abundant in shallow waters, not deep. Plesiosaurs were over 10 meters long. Fast, aggressive hunters, they scoured the shallow seas in search of prey. Without a hard shell for protection, pre-Vampiroteuthis is believed to have been easy prey for the plesiosaurs. It seems that the presence of predators like plesiosaurs near the surface drove pre-Vampiroteuthis ever deeper into the abyss. Amazingly, they managed to adapt themselves to life in the deep over tens of millions of years with hardly any alteration to their appearance. However, their biological mechanisms have had to change dramatically in order to survive in the oxygen-deficient environment. For example, special pigments allow Vampiroteuthis to carry over 5 times more oxygen in its blood than other squid or octopus. And it has another ingenious strategy to survive in the deep: bioluminescence.
See that dark spot there? That's where the light organ is, at the top of the mantle. One there and one there. It's very, very bright. A bright blue light that almost acts like a searchlight.
Large light-emitting organs, or photophores, lie hidden beneath these dark areas of skin. The thin layer of skin can be opened and closed like a camera shutter to reveal a strong blue light. Bioluminescence is not only used by Vampiroteuthis, it is actually very common in deep-sea animals. 90% of the organisms living several hundred meters below the surface are able to produce their own light. It seems to be an invaluable tool in their struggle for survival in the twilight world. When a ctenophore senses danger or is threatened, this happens. This hypnotic light display is thought to confuse and deter predators. In some creatures, the photophores are more widespread and the whole body lights up. Tomopterus emits light from the tip of its appendages and secretes glowing mucus to warn off potential attackers. Some animals can even sprinkle glowing particles to give the impression of larger size or to conceal their outline. This is Periphala, a deep-sea jellyfish. But it's not only floating animals that emit light. This sea pen lives a sedentary life at the bottom of the abyss. If a potential predator approaches and touches its body, the sea pen produces a wave of warning light. But bioluminescence can't always guard against hunters. Impressive light displays are so widespread among a diverse range of animals, it's believed that successful predators can actually take on and use the bioluminescent properties of their prey. This is a lanternfish. one of the most abundant fish in this twilight zone. The lanternfish is so named because it has rows of light-emitting organs along its body, which look like small beads of light. Chiroteuthis squid and other deep-sea predators can detect prey by searching for a moving silhouette against the faintest light. But watch closely. This computer simulation shows that when light is emitted, the silhouette of the lanternfish disappears and it blends into the background. This effect is called countershading, and it can be a very effective strategy for avoiding detection, and not just for the lanternfish. The predator Chiroteuthis is also potentially at risk from other bigger predators. The body is transparent, but its highly sensitive eyes form dark areas, which can be quite obvious. But Chiroteuthis has a similar adaptation to the lanternfish. It has light-emitting organs underneath each eye, and when these are activated, the dark shadows disappear, and Chiroteuthis blends into the background. It's impossible to guess all the uses that deep-sea creatures have for bioluminescence. We know it can be used to attract a mate. We know that light displays can deter or confuse potential predators, but there is so much more to learn. From Vampiroteuthis too. Because the vampire squid has a dark red body, it blends in well with the dark of the abyss. It seems naturally protected, yet it has light-emitting organs. Exactly how does it use them? These were filmed for the first time in Japan using a super-sensitive, high-definition camera in an effort to observe how it uses them. What other discoveries can Dr. Robeson and his team look forward to? Suddenly, Vampiroteuthis starts to open its mantle. The membrane envelops its body, completely changing its appearance. It's an incredibly dramatic way of avoiding danger. And this isn't the only secret weapon that this amazing creature uses to escape attack. The super-sensitive high-definition camera captures the light-emitting organs. These resemble a pair of bright eyes, and researchers suspect that they're an effective deterrent to potential predators. So despite having hardly changed its basic shape, this living fossil has developed some amazing adaptations to survive in this twilight world. From his ongoing research, Dr. Robeson has a theory of how Vampiroteuthis may use these remarkable abilities. We can illustrate this using computer animation. By remaining almost motionless with its filaments outstretched, Vampiroteuthis uses up little oxygen. This is a very energy-efficient way of hunting. Then, when small shrimp or fish touch the filaments, Vampiroteuthis quickly moves in on the prey. Using the soft membrane, it envelops the prey and swallows it. But even in this oxygen-deficient environment, there are predators lurking. Alarmed by an approaching blue shark, this Vampiroteuthis opens up its light-emitting organs. At the same time, it turns its membrane inside out and covers up its eyes. By making the opening of the light organ even smaller, it can create the illusion of having fled to a distance and confuses the shark. Then, when the shark accidentally bumps into the Vampiroteuthis, it releases glowing particles to further confuse the shark and allow Vampiroteuthis to escape. Such remarkable adaptations allow Vampiroteuthis infernalis, the vampire squid from hell, to survive life in a hellish habitat where most others would perish. Down in the abyss lies an alien world, which only a few have been privileged to glimpse. But thanks to the invaluable research of Dr. Robeson, it's been possible to gain an insight into the life of one of the deep's most incredible creatures, a living fossil that has remained virtually unchanged for millions of years. The oceans are beginning to reveal their secrets. But can it be possible that they have anything more extraordinary to show us than the vampire from the abyss?